The Federal Capital Territory, FCT, is the capital of Nigeria, yeah. It is not a state, but administered by elected officials who are supervised by the federal government for political expediency and convenience. Now, many Nigerian lawyers are averring that votes from the FCT approximate to those from other states. But a Lagos-based attorney and public affairs analyst, Liborous Oshoma, has alleged that his colleagues were twisting the narrative about the efficacy of having a 25% votes in the FCT. As far as Oshoma is concerned, the Supreme Court had settled the question when it said all votes in Nigeria were equal. So let's have a bit of what Oshoma said first.
All of a sudden, lawyers are saying that the votes from the FCT are golden votes, while votes from other parts of the Federation are silver votes. The Constitution, as interpreted by the Supreme Court, did not create such intendment. The Supreme Court had interpreted that all votes in Nigeria are equal. No one vote is higher than the other votes. If a candidate wins 36 over 36, are you going to say because that candidate didn't even win one vote in the FCT, and so he cannot be declared a winner? Is that the intendment of the drafters of the Constitution? And so the intendment is not to create a superpower state or a special status state. For the fact that it is FCT, the Constitution did not intend to make the vote coming from the FCT special status vote. It is not the intendment of the Constitution that any state in Nigeria would have a special status in as far as votes are concerned. That's why all votes are equal. So if you score 25% in two-thirds of 37 states, you don't even need to score one vote in Abuja. Take, for example, a candidate wins majority, more than 50% votes in 36 states, and did not score one vote in the FCT. Are you going to say that candidate cannot be declared as duly elected? Is that the intendment of the Constitution? Does the Constitution also create similar status for governors in the various states of the Federation? The answer is no. So sometimes I listen to, some senior lawyers also giving analysis and creating examples that are not apt. I've listened to some saying, what if you say, answer one question and four other questions? That example is not apt, is not in tandem with Section 134. I've also listened to analysis saying, if I say I want Ugozi and 4 coppers, what it means is that Ugozi must be present. But for the purpose of Section 134, for example, is Ugozi a copper? That's the first question you should be asking. If you score 25% in FCT, for example, it should be calculated alongside other 25% that you have scored. So if FCT is the last state where you got the 25% to clock 25% of two-thirds of 37, it is equally still good. But he now went to the definition section in Section 299 to say and state that for the purpose of this Constitution, the FCT shall be regarded as a state, even though it doesn't have governor and parliament the way other states have. And what is that purpose? For achieving this such definition. So all of this mischief that is being created is highly unnecessary. Some persons also have argued that presidential election petition should be determined before May 29. That is a practical impossibility, except the petitioner wants to take only the issues of law and jettison the issues of fact. If you want to take only the issues of law, then those ones can be argued, parties can join issues, and the tribunal would make decisions on that even before May 29. But on the issues of fact, proof of irregularities, the petitioners also know that they will have to prove polling unit by polling unit. A lot of these lawyers also have political leaning, and their interpretation is dependent on the side of the divide that they belong. And that is why all of this mischief would come up, all of this interpretation would come up to try to see how they can push the argument of their clients. And so I've had cause to have interactions with some senior advocate on this also. And then when they tell me they are trying to test the law, but you are being paid by clients. So you are not just testing the law, you are pushing the narrative of your clients.
Yeah. Jide, this is the season, where pronouncement, you hear certain pronouncements and there is more questions than answers.
Yes, it's just mischief making. Some people looked at the way the election went. You can see that Obi did not even score to 25% in 20 states. And he wants to be president. The route to the presidency, he didn't
comply with.
Yes. You need to score 25% in 24 states.
Yeah.
Atiku also didn't score up to 25% in 24 states. It was only Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that achieved that. So now, seeing that they've been defeated, you will now see lawyers shutting the door against reason
and logic.
Revolting against logic, and then arguing baselessly on matters that had been decided as early as 2003. Okay. That section 299 of the Constitution, by saying that Abuja shall be regarded, shall be treated as a state, it effectively shuts up the people making so much noise about this thing.
Yeah.
We have seen before that lawyers will brush aside the law once their client is interested in a particular angle of the debate. They brush aside the law. We've seen that before. And at the end of the day, what usually happens, reason will prevail because the truth always prevails. You can imagine, even if the people who wrote the Nigerian Constitution were dunderheads, there is no way that they will be thinking in their hearts that even if a man scores, if a man earns 80% of the total vote cast in our country,
yeah,
that if he does not get 25% in Abuja, he can't be elected. There is nowhere in the world where anybody has come up with that kind of law. Democracy is a very simple thing. You have the majority of the votes. You have the majority of the votes and the required spread. That is the route to the presidency.
Yeah.
The people in Abuja, they don't have two heads. The people who live in Abuja, they don't have two heads. They do not go around with double genitalia. They are just like other people in our country. Yeah. Their votes are not special. The votes that they cast are not special.
Put simply, FCT is not a state.
FCT is not a state.
It has only one senator. And so
it doesn't have a governor.
Doesn't have a governor.
Yeah, so there are some characters of a state that FCT
does not have.
Yeah, so it's an administrative area. Its own parliament is the National Assembly that functions as its own parliament. Whereas in Lagos, we have House of Assembly. So it is not a state. And when the law says, and the FCT, it envisions that there will be people who will not, who could even score 25% in 23 states and could be lucky to score 25% in FCT. Yeah. So in that case, they would then treat FCT as a state so that that person can have his route to the presidency. The people who are doing all this mischief making, I see them, they write it, they put it on top, they talk about double registration too, that Atiku had already won election as the governor of Adamawa State before Obasanjo picked him as his vice presidential.
Yeah.
And I remember I asked him that day on TV, will you be loyal to me? It was on NTA.
Yeah.
So now we are hearing about double registration. That is one of the bases upon which they are seeking the disqualification. But the most ridiculous of all is this Abuja thing. And I can't imagine that lawyers will be arguing baselessly. Senior lawyers,
No, it's actually Dati Ahmed that started this thing. Unfortunately, so he said.
I don't think it's Dati Ahmed.
No, he said.
I saw. Even.
He was on television saying that it's only Labour Party that has 25%.
But lawyers have seen lawyers who are similarly saying the same thing. The moment they realized that that provision was there, and they knew that Asiwaju didn't have it.
And another.
It became a weapon that they've been using.
And another point they are pushing is the fact that they are comparing our constitution and our election to WAEC results. That WAEC will tell you that you must have 5 credits, including English and Maths.
Yeah.
And I said, this one is not like WAEC. It's like Premiership, that just have the number of points, whether you beat the
if
top
I get
team,
them correctly now, if I get their ridiculous logic
very
correctly,
ridiculous.
what they are saying is that Arsenal can beat anybody, but because it has not been able to beat Man City,
It should not,
therefore it should not be crowned. It should not be crowned as a
Honestly, that's what
Premier
they're
League
trying to say.
Jamiu, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The current president didn't score 25% in FCT, but he's sitting there.
Yes, in the second time,
So
yes.
is that at
it
issue?
didn't. See, another fact is now it is Labour Party that is pushing this. Now let's look at this. Labour Party came third.
So they are thinking that with by 25% in Abuja,
without having
they can go to the top. They can become number 1.
They will have to kill Atiku first. They will have to kill Atiku first. And these characters too, I think we need to tell Nigerians, in the Southwest, Labour Party only won in Lagos. Out of the 6 states in the Southwest, only 1. As in winning the majority, not the 25% now. In South-South, where we have 6 states, and it's supposed to be their forte.
5.
Their stronghold.
South-South, okay.
Yes, South-South, 6 states. So, they only won in 3 states, Rivers, Bayelsa, and Akwa Ibom. In North Central.
Who won Rivers?
No, for presidency.
They didn't win Rivers.
No, sorry, they actually lost. Sorry, they lost 3 states. These are the states they lost. Rivers, Bayelsa, and Akwa Ibom. They won Cross River and 2 other states. Edo and Delta. The Labour Party lost Rivers, Bayelsa, and Akwa Ibom. North Central, 6 states. It only won in Nasarawa and Plateau. Lost in the 4 other states. Kogi, Kwara, Benue, and I think Niger. In the Northeast, 0/6. Northeast, that's Adamawa, Yobe, and Co. 0/6. Southeast, of course, 5/5. Northwest, that's the highest voting concentration in the country with 7 states, 28 million registered voters, 0/7. And you want to be president.
They didn't even score.
Not even.
I think the best performance they made in the Northwest was in Kaduna, where they also scored 21% or so. They didn't get
even 25% in any of them. So, Labour Party actually won 11 states.
11 states, yes.
But because in the federal election, Abuja is regarded as a federal constituency. All the states in a federal election are federal constituencies. National constituencies, presidential constituencies. So that's why you now see the 3 parties having 12, and NNPP having 1. We now wonder, do we have 37 states? No. So, if you are saying that because you won in Abuja, you want to be president, are you going to kill Atiku? Let us even assume that APC is their problem. APC is not in the equation. how do you take
How do
Atiku
you
away?
take Atiku out of the equation?
Out of the equation.
Because Atiku had greater spread.
Greater spread, greater number of...
Though he didn't get to 24.
Yes,
but
greater
he had,
the number of majority votes.
Popular votes.
The person who won this election is clear.
And
the rest, what we are saying is just nasty politics, head banging on the wall, signifying nothing.
Jide,
The election has been won and lost.
the final straw that will break their camel's back is that in a worst case scenario that perchance if there's going to be a rerun, Labour Party won't be part of that rerun.
It's just two
because
parties.
they came third.
Two parties.
It's two parties, first and second. So what's the noise?
All right, let's allow the courts.
They are the ones telling people.
No, we
that
need
they
to let
want-
them know
No,
this.
because
Let's
there
allow-
were some opinion polls that we talked about then. Opinion poll that gave Obi
And
a
Ed.
higher chance of winning Kano.
Winnie Kano.
Over
Kwakwanso.
Kwakwanso. Is that not lunacy?
And they
Is that
believe
not
it.
lunacy? So some
gentlemen.
of those opinion polls now, they are citing those opinion polls.
Polls.
Gentlemen,
that they
we must
thought they
go
would
to our
get
last
there.
topic. Time is tight.
No, we need to let Nigerians know about this one.
Okay.